Smackdown starts off with the Bloodline. It starts off with all four members of the OG Bloodline: Jay, Sammy, Jimmy, Roman. Sammy starts off, ends up saying that Crown Jewel, the kick was an accident, and that he only helped because of Jay. But then he ends up saying that when it was the four of them in the ring, it felt special and it reminded him of the good old days back when he was in the Bloodline. That he still has a soft spot for being in the Bloodline for that time period. And he ends up saying that he knows Roman and Jimmy and Jay all feel the same way because they wouldn't be here listening to him. And he ends up saying that he knows Roman still has love for him. But he ends up saying that he's going to let Roman make the final choice of the decision whether or not they need to work together. But he ends up saying that first he needs to apologize, but not to him, but to Jey Uso. Roman thinks about it and ends up saying that he ends up going to Jey Uso, and it looks like he was apologizing, but he ends up saying that he ends up flipping it, ends up saying that you allowed him to waste my time, and that Sammy's not family, he never was family, and that it's just not going to happen. Then Sammy, of course, ends up leaving. Then they end up cutting to another segment where Jay confronts Roman, ends up, saying that he only wanted him to do one thing for him, but Roman basically ends up refusing, and Roman ends up showing a bit of that old tribal chief a little bit, showing, that dictatorship a bit. He ends up saying that if you love him, if you like him so much, why don't you go towards him then? Then he ends up treating Jimmy with the same disrespect. I like this. I like that they're showing, Roman still having his old tendencies, his old ways. He hasn't fully changed yet. He will eventually change, eventually due to probably more beatdowns of the bloodline, to eventually have him to fully have that rationality of he needs to change his ways. But I feel like he's really going to change once Paul Heyman gets in the picture. Once Paul Heyman comes back, gets back into the full picture, that's when he's really going to change, because Roman has said many times that Paul Heyman is the wise man. He's the one that helped them a lot, and that none of this is possible without him. So when Paul Heyman comes back, that's when I think we're going to see the full change in Roman Reigns' character, and when he fully starts accepting Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy, fully changing and start respecting. That's when I think the full change will officially happen. This was great. This was a great way to open the show. I really love what they did here. After this, we end up getting Randy Orton and KO. They basically brawl. They end up brawling, and then Kevin Owens ends up hitting a pile driver on Randy Orton. And they end up talking about how the move is banned and how that move is not allowed to be used. This is great. They're showing that ruthless version of KO, him going back to being, the prize fighter. This is great. I wonder how Cody's going to be injected into this, because they end up, putting Randy into the ambulance truck. I wonder where Cody's going to fit into this, because right now there's no direction for Cody at Survivor Series. So I don't know, is he even going to be on the card? So my prediction right now is that eventually this whole feud is going to turn Randy Orton heel, and he's going to blame Cody for this situation. That's what I see happening. I think after this feud is over, somehow Randy is going to turn heel due to this situation, and then he's going to go after Cody due to the involvement of KO, due to his feud with KO. But I'm very interested to see how Cody plays a factor, because he has to play a factor to the storyline, because the reason why they're beefing is because of Cody. So Cody has to get involved, and I'm very curious to see how, because Cody has nothing to do for Survivor Series. It'd be shocking if he's not on the show. But this was really good. I really enjoyed what they did here. This is great. After this, we end up getting Tommaso Ciampa. He's teasing his heel turn. He's teasing turning heel. They end up having a match against Pretty Deadly where he was doing a lot of heelish things. He attacked Pretty Deadly before the bell rung, kept on ramming him into steel steps, didn't tag in Johnny Gargano. And then there was a moment before the match where he was basically having a prep talk to Johnny Gargano and telling him that we got to do whatever it takes to win. This is very interesting. Now, a lot of people are assuming that Tommaso would turn heel, and then that would start the rivalry between Johnny and Tommaso, which I don't mind. But me personally, I feel like they didn't even get off as a tag team to be able to do this. I don't know. I feel like you should probably have them be a heel group first, and then you could turn Johnny babyface by Tommaso turn. That's how I feel like you can do it. Me personally, I think they should just be a heel tag team, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I like the idea of heel Tommaso Ciampa, because I love Tommaso Ciampa. I think Tommaso Ciampa is great. I think he's very underrated. Him being in the mid, low key, actually, I think it probably makes sense because he could be in the mid card. He could be in the mid card for the U.S. Championship because they need SmackDown needs bodies. They need bodies for that mid card because outside of Andrade and Carmelo, they have no one. So Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa could fit that build. But I like them as a tag team. I think they should stick together. But I understand that if they need to break up to finally get some momentum, I can see it. But I think they should probably. I'm gonna assume this is a swerve. I'm gonna assume this is a swerve where Johnny Gargano turns heel as well. I think this is gonna be like a Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell situation where Indy refuses at first, but then leans in and finally. I think it's gonna be that situation. I don't think they're gonna break this tag team up. I think they're gonna slowly build this up, and then Johnny eventually turns heel with Tommaso Ciampa. That's what I think is gonna happen. Now, I'm not gonna speak too much on this next match. It was Bianca and Jade versus Nia and Tiffany. Bianca Jade, of course, ends up winning, but they had the heels ended up having a chance to win with a Candice LeRae distraction, but Tiffany Stratton refused her help because before the match, Candice LeRae was basically saying that if she was the one helping Nia at Crown Jewel, that she would have won. Tiffany gets a little frustrated. So it looks like they have a little personal feud for the attention of Nia Jax. I am a bit confused on Candice LeRae's purpose in this thing with Nia and Tiffany because I thought they was gonna play the story of Candice LeRae outshining Tiffany Stratton in the areas that Tiffany Stratton is not being successful in. Beating, Bayley, beating, Naomi, helping them win matches that Tiffany can't. But Candice LeRae is also losing as well, so I don't understand the purpose of Candice LeRae in this storyline anymore because she's not being any better than Tiffany, and I don't think you really need Candice LeRae to really push this story. I feel like you would have got to the same outcome even without Candice LeRae, unless you was gonna have Candice LeRae replace Tiffany Stratton, like Nia starts to replace her, starts giving Candice more of the second role, more of being her best friend instead of Tiffany due to her being more proven than Tiffany. If they was going to go that route, then it would make more sense. But right now, I'm not really understanding the purpose of Candice LeRae in this story, in my opinion. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just looking at it from the wrong point of view. After this, though, Nick Aldis finally announces a women's mid-card championship. It's the United States Championship. This is great. This is amazing. We needed this for a long time. Finally, the women have something to do. Finally. Now, this does raise a concern. Are they going to do it on both brands or just this brand? Now, look, a lot of people are saying that they shouldn't do it on both brands. They need to do it on both brands. A lot of people don't understand this. Both women's divisions are good in terms of talent. They're just not good in terms of booking. That's the issue. They have the talent for it. They just don't book them properly. That's the issue. But to be fair, it's hard to book them in a tag team where, no offense, you don't give much effort. Triple H actually gives effort in terms of mid-card titles. Look on the men's side of the mid-card. When it's a singles title, he gives effort. He just doesn't do it for tag teams. He hasn't done it for the men's side either. So, tag teams in general, he just doesn't do a good job. But when it comes to a singles title, he does what he needs to do. I don't care who wins this, as long as it's not Naomi or Bayley. And I love Bayley. Bayley is my second favorite women's wrestler of all time. But no, just no. We do not need Naomi or Bayley. I know a lot of people want Naomi. Well, fan pages really are huge fans of her. I don't want to see Naomi be a champion. I don't mind it because I will understand it because you want to put like legitimacy on it. That's one of the reasons why Becky Lynch won. That way Liv Morgan can have a legitimate title reign. That way she could beat her. I get it from that point of view, but I just don't want to see it. I want someone new, someone that doesn't get the opportunity. I want someone like a Michin, Chelsea Green, Blair Davenport, Candice LeRae. One of them to win it. One of them needs to win it, in my opinion. But this is great. We needed this for a while. Hopefully they do the same on Raw. We don't know. We don't know it's going to be cross-brand. But this is great. We needed this. This is great. We needed this for a very long time. Now we end up getting the main event. Solo and Roman in the ring. Solo's Bloodlines in the ring as well. Solo basically wants Roman to acknowledge him, but of course you already know Roman. He's not gonna acknowledge Solo. Then Roman ended up initiating a challenge. He ends up challenging Solo to a one-on-one match for the one and only tribal chief. But Solo laughs it off and ends up saying that he doesn't need to challenge Roman because he's already the tribal chief. And then he starts mentioning that he ends up challenging Roman to find 4 other members to team up with him so they could go to war, alluding to war games. Roman was confused because he was like, it's only 4 of y'all. Why do I need to get 4 members? Solo starts counting, and then he ends up saying that the 5th member is Sami Zayn, which was a huge surprise. But then Sami Zayn ends up slowly coming out, and then the bloodline, Solo's bloodline, ends up attacking Roman. Then the Usos comes out. Solo gets on the microphone, starts saying that Sami attacked them on purpose at Crown Jewel. The Solo's bloodline get the upper hand, and then there's a moment where Solo has Roman. He's holding Roman up, and then he tells Sami to get in the ring. Tells Sami to get in the ring. Sami gets in the ring, and he tells Sami to kick Roman in the face. Tells him to kick him in the face. Solo builds it up, and then he ends up kicking Solo in the face instead. Then the OG bloodline takes out Solo's bloodline, and then they stand tall, and then you see Jimmy, Jay put their ones up. Then Sami and Roman have a stare down. Sami puts his ones up, and then Roman Reigns puts his ones up. And then this was great. This was amazing. This is great. Love what they did here. The War Games match is most likely is official. We already know that. This is great. This was a great episode of SmackDown from top to bottom. They did exactly what they needed to do. This is great. I can't wait to see the build up for the women's mid card, the Bloodline story, Randy. This is great. SmackDown is really starting to deliver really good shows. Everything is starting to pick up. I can't wait to see what's next. But you guys, let me know your opinions down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. But yeah, that's it.